Money FM 89.3, the best of Saturday mornings.
As you all know, if you are in Singapore or following Singapore news, there was a huge stretch of Tanjong Katong Road South that collapsed a week ago, causing a vehicle to plunge into a sinkhole, and a 47-year-old construction worker, Foreman Pichai Udayapan Subaya, used a nylon rope to help pull the woman out of the sinkhole, a real hero. And now it's Raining Raincoats has raised some 72,000 Singapore dollars for that worker and several others who were helping in that emergency. Great story. Let's bring in Deepa now. She's joining us on the line. How you doing, Deepa?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good to be back again. Thanks for having me.
So great to have you on. And first of all, thank you once again, as you did with the River Valley heroes of that fire in the shop house. But you are recognizing and really trying to get a groundswell of recognition for these workers. Tell us where we're at right now with with this, the funds you're raising, and a thank you to them, and where are we at?
Yeah, so the fundraise closed. We just had it open for 43 hours. We just wanted to give a round figure. There are 7 workers, who were identified as being the ones involved in that rescue, with, of course, Pichai being, the one, I think, who orchestrated the whole thing, and he acted, with so much courage and so quickly. So anyway, the fundraise closed within 43 hours because we raised what we were hoping to raise, which was about $10,000 for each of them. And now we're organizing an event next Sunday on the 10th of August at our little venue to honor them. It's a meet and greet. Those who want to meet them, members of the public, members of the press, are welcome to come too. And the monies will be transferred to their account, and we will sort of have a little event celebrating all of that.
As always, Deepa, I cannot praise you enough for what you do. Both Glenn and I went to the previous event when you did something very similar, equally fantastic, for the heroes of the shop house fire. And the reason that up is because we were there at your wonderful It's Raining Raincoats shop that you provide for migrant workers. And I remember this because when you presented the money to each of those heroes, they had their foreman there, their construction foreman. And I remember you...
I know where you're going with this.
I remember you literally jabbing a finger in his face. I mean, unbelievable. And you said, I will personally make sure that every single cent goes to those migrant workers. Yeah. And if I find out there's been commissions and deductions, I will personally come for you. And this poor foreman just stood there and took it. I admire that fortitude.
That's great.
And I imagine you're going to say something similar this time around.
Yeah. Well, yes. If anybody else comes, who's superior to them, and because we've seen this happen all too often, Neil and Glenn. Yes, these guys are, they live on the fringes and they live on the margins of society, and they rarely feel empowered, to take on larger forces than themselves. And so, this is, when there's money involved, there's always the chance of unsavory behavior. And we just want to make sure that this money is theirs for them to keep and for them to, enjoy, but, not for them to be, scammed out of it in any way, shape, or form.
Deepa, that's wonderful. We're talking with Deepa Swaminathan, the founder of the charity It's Raining Raincoats. By the way, all of you can contribute to It's Raining Raincoats any day of the year. As Neil mentioned, they have a wonderful shop down in Henderson Road. It is completely free to all the migrant workers. People donate clothing. I was just there this week. I donated 3 brand new pairs of shoes that I ordered online that didn't fit me. I was so annoyed, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to spend the time to send them back. I'll take them down to your shop. And they're there now for the folks. But other things.
Fantastic.
Well, no, but look, I say that because we all can do what little we can to help these guys who earn so little. Remind us again what the average migrant worker who's cleaning or doing construction, how much are they making a month, Deepa? I know it ranges, but.
Yeah, it ranges exactly. As you know, there's no minimum wage for them. The basic wage for many of them is still $18 a day. That's not $18 an hour. It's $18 a day, which is, even, different to what, the female domestic workers earn. And, in their case, most of them are, they have a room to themselves, they have a toilet to themselves, and, they have a one-on-one relationship with their families, which unfortunately the male migrant workers don't have. So at $18 a day, that translates to about $450 a month, which is, as you can imagine, not nearly enough in, with today's cost of living, etc. Obviously, there are workers who earn more than that. Workers who've been here for 10, 15 years have probably gone, well beyond that. But the workers who are still at those pay scales, they then work overtime to supplement. And that's when you have issues of, not getting enough rest, not getting days off. And then that can then lead to issues around health and well-being, which can then lead to accidents. So, it's a whole sort of connected sequence of events. So
when you pass these guys on the street, pardon me for interrupting, they could be making as little as $450 a month, or they might be making, $1,000 or $1,200 or something if they've been here a long time. But out in the heat or overnight working or doing the heavy lifting, this is not, perhaps compared to their home country, it's good paying, but this is a real hard job that they've got.
It really is. It's backbreaking work, and that's why when Pichai says he's been here for 22 years, that's probably the majority of his entire working life. Because unlike you and me, we sit in offices, we may work with paper or mics or whatever. We're not doing backbreaking hard work. When you do that, the span of your work life is shortened. So 22, 30 years, maybe that's the maximum of it. And they give all of it to Singapore. And we still call them migrant workers, we don't call them, but they are in fact resident. They only go back once in 2 years for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and yet they cannot apply for permanent residency, something I also learned from you, Deepa. More broadly, what has been your take on the response to the sinkhole? Because it's been very positive on the one hand, unbelievable support online and elsewhere. But I also put a few things on social media saying, well, isn't this a good time to bring in legislation that ensures at the very least they get covered, comfortable, safe transport to and from work every day? Most people agreed, but even then you still get one or two who say, but it's too expensive, it'll drive up costs, the usual things. What's your take?
Yeah, there's that. And, would you believe there's even backlash to giving them, monies, right?
How?
There's enough people who are commenting on social media saying, why give them money? It should just be kindness. And, my response to that has been even the Nobel Peace Prize comes with a cash component.
Well, they did get medals from the SCDF, I believe, right? They got participation medals. So that was kind. But they were recognized.
Yeah. And, that is great. And, everybody everyone should feel free to appreciate them in the way that they want without putting down somebody else. It's very easy to be armchair warriors in this scenario, right? For people to just sit on their keyboard and say what they think. It's so much harder to get up and do something. But I just want to come back to the point of the money and clarify that money is long recognized as a form of reward. As I say, the Nobel Peace Prize itself comes with, $1 million reward, public service awards around the world, all kinds of prizes for sporting events, for celebrity events, etc., come with cash components. So why deny these migrant workers? And if you look at $10,000, even just as a bonus to Pichai for 22 years of labor, it's a pittance when divided annually. So, I just wanted to clarify that point on air about, the fundraise, and also say that it's Raining Raincoats only opened up the link. We are not giving this money from, our pocket. It's the public that has really expressed their gratitude to these workers, their appreciation. And so, Neil, I also sympathize with what you're saying, which is, every time there's an opportunity like this, I agree with you. I wish we wouldn't let it go waste, and I wish we would introspect a little bit more to reflect on how much they do for us. and, you know, how little perhaps, you know, we're doing back in return for them to ensure their safety.
What a country would stop. The country would stop today without migrant workers.
All the dong.
It would stop. Singapore would cease to exist without migrant workers.
Yeah, absolutely. Deepa, we do have to say goodbye to you. But lastly, what is going to happen for the recognition ceremony that you're thinking? Has that been put together? And if people want to contribute more broadly to its Raining Raincoats, what do they do?
Yeah, thank you. So very quickly, the ceremony is on the 10th of August at the Inspire store, which, you know, people can Google and see where that is, the Raining Raincoats Inspire store. It's going to be a very simple, organic ceremony. You know, we'll probably say a few words about them. We'll allow them to talk about, you know, what they did and what they feel and what the subsequent unfolding of events has meant to them. And then, you know, it'll just be a time for people who come to mingle with them and interact with them. So just a very simple, organic event, you know, no deep set agenda.
Yeah, and that's at the Inspire store in Henderson Road. And what time will that be?
It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 10th of August, yes, at 317 Henderson Road.
All right, and contributing to its Raining Raincoats, how do people do it?
Yeah, so that, it's our 10th year coincidentally, and so we're running, we're having an anniversary luncheon, and we're looking to fundraise for ourselves. So if people visit our Instagram or Facebook pages, you know, those links keep going up periodically, or they can always PM our page, you know, or contact me directly on LinkedIn even if anyone wants to help.
Awesome.
And Deepa, just to reiterate, if people want to bring anything on the day or donate anything to them on the day, that's okay, right? That's what you did previously. Absolutely. People should feel totally free to do that. It could just be, you know, something they baked at home for them or anything else.
Deepa Swaminathan, the founder of the charity It's Raining Raincoats, helping to celebrate the wonderful and selfless work of the Tanjong Katong Road disaster efforts there by our migrant workers. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you both. Bye.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.